right, good morning, everybody. So someone's asking, are we up on YouTube? Yes, we are. You can check out the stream there. Let me know how the audio sounds over on that side. Let me know. Let's get back into it. Nate Ivey with you. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning in the Queen City. And as always, my pleasure to be with you. Good morning. Good morning. 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts, I love to hear them. So far, I've been talking about the comments of the Cincinnati police chief, who is an African American. And he went to Law and Public Safety Committee yesterday because there's been a recent, run of shootings throughout the city, primarily in neighborhoods where there are a lot of black people that live. Why is that? And he said, look, among other things, crime is down, which I want to know how that hits your ear. What difference does it make if crime is down if people are still dying? What difference does it make? And my question is, we are the community. So how do you feel about it? I mean, what should be done, in your opinion? Some people have already said already that what we need are more police on the streets. Is that true? Okay. I'm down with that. I'm certainly down with that. See here. Angela writes, are the white and black police equally proportionally overweight as their numbers? I tend to not see overweight lady officers, but the men, on the other hand, I think you're right about that. Yeah, that's true to me as well. Majestic writes, yes, I paid my $20K for my bachelor. Now today, college is upwards of $80K in state with room and board. It's amazing. This society tells you, go to college. That's the reason why people are debating whether college is worth it anymore, because of how much it cost. And it's incredible. Like, I remember what I paid for a full semester at the University of Cincinnati during my freshman year. It was less than $1,000 for 4 credit hours. Well, I'm sorry, for 12 credit hours, it was less than, and that means I could have went from 12 credit hours, 15 credit hours, maybe even up to 18 credit hours for less than $1,000 per quarter. That's in state. That's what it cost. Now, through the roof. Mila writes, I'm not having sound issues. Okay. Angela writes, I couldn't receive Pell Grants or work study until I came out from under my parents, which I did the last 2 years. Back then, we were also back then we also could sign promissory notes interest free. Yeah, I had to do the same thing. The first couple of years when I filled out was a FAFSA, I had to have my mother do it because the way their rules were written, I was still technically, under her roof, even though I hadn't even lived with her for like a year or so. At that point, I've been living with my grandparents, but it is what it is. But then they had an age limit or something like that. So when you got a certain age, then you could do it on your own. I remember that. I think they've changed those rules. So I thought it was stupid. It was archaic. All it did was just, it made me not available for certain money. Those Pell Grants, man, them Pell Grants saved your boy, though. Without those Pell Grants, oh, my gosh. Man, I remember even one quarter, man, I even had like a little bit of money left over, man. Man, I was big man on campus. I had like $200 after I paid for everything. I was big man on campus for about a week. At least in my own head, right? Oh, man. Kush writes, my mic sound nice. Great. Okay. Good to hear that. Mason Muller writes, the work study was a photographer for the newspaper. I learned how to develop. Wait. Let me get this here. My work study job was a photographer for the student newspaper. I learned how to develop film like the old days. Then he writes, damn, I'm old. Is that right? We all old, man. You're old is a state of mind. Sissy Tigers writes, where there is a video circulating of the murder in Winton Terrace. It's awful, broad daylight. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I didn't watch all of it, but it got sent to me. I don't know when it was. It was over the weekend. Matter of fact, 2 people sent it to me in direct message. One was sending it to me like, Nate, see this. The other was a family member who was completely outraged about how people on social media were reacting to it. And, it happened in broad daylight over trash, I was told. I don't know if the truth, some other truth is going to come out of some other narrative, but that's what I was told by a family member, that it was over trash. Two women got into an argument over, whose trash can is that, whose trash can is what, over in Winton Terrace. And then the men got involved. You know how it is when men get involved. The egos get involved. Now it's not about the trash. It's trash talking. Somebody gets threatened. Nigga, I'll whoop your ass. There it is. That's all it takes. I don't know, man. Human beings do crazy things to one another. I've seen a lot of things, man. Everybody's different. It is heartbreaking, Majestic. It's really heartbreaking. Like I told you, I know I have contact. It was a family member of a family member. So when it happened, and then on Sunday, I was with this family member, and they were very upset. They were very upset. There's a lot of tempers about this, and I was trying to tell him, like, chill. I understand. I mean, they talking about doing something. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm telling you straight up. There's people out there that was very upset about this guy. Apparently, he was really loved in the community, around certain people, and people want to do things. And I told this family member, chill. Where does this end for you? Think about it. You got children. Think about this all the way through before you want to go all baby boy on them. You know what I'm saying? Just think about this. Very, very tragic. And we live in a world star mentality, right? Where everybody wants to catch a viral video. Everybody wants to, I called it. I got 300 plays today because I put up a video of somebody getting murdered. I don't want to be a part of it. I will not be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of somebody's death. What do I get out of that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's tragic. It's tragic. And again, literally broad daylight, man goes in, gets a gun, walks outside, no words. 5 shots to the chest, close range. Then 2 shots at the female. Hit her twice. She survived. So that's what I was told. So it's not good. It's not good. Now, what can the police do about something like that? Pretty much nothing. As I see it, that was just the day. It's unfortunate. And the man who was killed never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. You can have all the training in the world you want. You can be super proficient with a gun, but if somebody get the drop on you and they're an arm's length away from you, what are you gonna do? Say your prayers. Say your prayers. That's what you're gonna do. I mean, there's a time for everything, right? I'm not sure that was the time. People are desensitized to it. Like that's just not my style. I see something like that happening. Why would I videotape it and then post it? Nah, no. But that's me. Everybody's different. I was told. Matter of fact, you can see this as well in the video. But I was told that people still rolling the tape. Dude on the ground dying. People still rolling the tape. Not even calling 911 because they got to break the Facebook Live cycle to call 911. And, you got to have your priorities straight. What's more important? 911? Calling 911? Or getting you some great footage? And there you go to all my YouTubers there. I had a statics page up. So now you can look straight into the studio. That's my bookshelf right there. One of them anyway. I've got another bookshelf over there. A lot of great stuff behind me, man. A lot of great authors. So for folks that want to get that video element, if you're having some issues with the audio, seems like there was a debate back and forth, or there was not a debate, different viewpoints about it. You can check me out on YouTube, Nathan Ivey Show right now. Check it out for yourself. Yeah, we talking local issues. Yeah, we talking about a tragic shooting that happened in broad daylight. Black people involved. One black man kills another black man over something small. I bet you, as soon as he got down there and thought about it, he thought, I ain't have to do that. Now, I can see if your life's in danger, as I said, you got to protect yourself and your family. But if your life is not in danger, then what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like we keep trying to go to war with one another instead of with the real enemy, which is not the black man that lives right next door to you in Witten Terrace. That's not your enemy. He's not out to get you. Lynn writes, if 3CDC is a nonprofit in charge of managing cities' interests, shouldn't the citizens have a vote on what they control? 3CDC, Port Authority, they get to use taxpayer money without going to the taxpayer. Until we break that cycle, our community will never get a fair shake. I keep hearing it over and over again. Lynn, how do we break that cycle? Kiki writes on YouTube this morning. Yes, we are, Kiki. Check us out. Mason Mahler writes, 90% of the shootings have to deal with the dope game. The average black man or woman will never be involved in a shooting. I mean, I agree with you on that to the point where, like, if you're not caught up with some of this stuff that's happening, then your chances of not being caught up in what's happening are greatly higher. But sometimes people get caught in the crossfire, mistaken identity. As I understand it, there was a shooting over Mount Airy. It looks like that was completely mistaken identity. At least that's what I've been told. So, you sit at the bus stop on your way to wherever you're going. You look like somebody that somebody's got a beef with. They roll up and start firing shots. What are you going to do? Iris writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. Kiki writes, the police can be on the streets, but are they actually walking the beat or sitting in their cars asleep? When my uncle was an active Cincinnati police officer, they actually walked the streets. Yeah, I'm seeing and hearing the same thing. Pat writes, Nate, you do know the debates are for 2 nights. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. So what we can do, that's great, actually. We don't even break that up. Well, it's going to be a series of debates. And so what I like to do is sort of put up a schedule, if you will, of this is a great way for us to actually get together and then also patronize black-owned businesses as well, like with Nakia Grooms and others. So there was a lot of businesses that people put out there. Barcode, I've got in contact with them. They're willing to host us as well. I'm going to reach out to Nakia as well. There's going to be several debates, so perhaps we can hit up several venues. I like that. Kiki writes, Kush writes, they're walking and posted up in the E. Is that Evanston? Yeah, Evanston's changing. It's changing right before our eyes. It really is. Kiki writes, yes, Mr. Ivey, you had to be at least 25 until you can apply for any type of aid for college. I remember that. Yeah, it was a big pain in my ass too. Because I was caught in this. See, my mother made too much money for me to qualify for certain things, but she didn't really make enough money to really help me, right? A lot of people get caught in that. It's not a sweet spot, but a lot of people get caught in that void right there, where according to these government calculations, you make too much money. But according to the real world calculations, you don't make enough money to take care of the expenses that you need to take care of, like college. Kush writes, please stop talking about student loans. I'm getting depressed. See, my daughter just registered to go to K-State. I'm trying to make it work, and student loans are definitely a priority. Fame's in the house. He writes, Lenny, it sounds like you did in college what the alt middle does when we call in. Blow up the negatives so that folks can see the bigger picture. See, someone writes, we get desensitized and traumatized consuming the violent content. PTSD. Obviously, yeah. You're right about that, obviously. Some people do. Majestic writes, the alleged shooter is claiming self-defense. Is that right? What else is he going to claim? Of course he's claiming self-defense. Claims self-defense. I'm seeing it right here. The attorney for the man, police say Etter, his name is Rodney Etter, shot Bernard Bell and a woman in Winton Hills. Witnesses, cameras. Wait. There were witnesses, city cameras, Facebook Lives. Apparently, they're saying that the claim will all support that he shot him in self-defense. Here we go. Here we go. The judge set the bond at more than $1 million on the murder and felonious assault charges, so he may not be getting out. Claim self-defense. What else is he going to claim? Of course he did. Tanika writes, YouTube is better. Okay, thank you, Tanika. Somebody sleeping off the donut coma. He told the police. Lynn writes, I was so fortunate in college. I got a full scholarship for basketball in the 70s. Wow. Damn. That's a good reason to put your kids in college or sports. Full ride scholarship or partial scholarship. I know a couple parents that started that when their kids was in elementary school. Before that, you better bounce that ball, son. Help with this college tuition. And hopefully it works out for him. That's a great, because, now you got to make a decision. Do I do it? Do I go to college? Do I invest in what they say is traditional, like mainstream education? Or do I go a different route? Do I go a different route? Do you just go the own your own business route? I ain't mad at that either. I'm not mad at that one bit. Kiki writes, okay, thanks. Absolutely. See here. That's funny. I mean, what else is he going to do? He's definitely going to say self-defense. What else is he going to say? Is he going to claim what? That I shot this man and I had no justification? No, everybody does that. I don't know. I was told something different. I was told that it was a minor argument. Again, if somebody threatens you in Ohio, do you have the right now to use deadly force because you don't want to wait until they actually go through on the threat? In Ohio, what are the rules? We get in the stand your ground territory. As I understand it, these are next door neighbors, so you live right next to each other. So how does the castle doctrine work when you're living right next door to each other, right? How's that work? I'd like to know. Great post, Jesse. This is from the Atlanta Black Star. What's going on? Black children between the ages of 5 and 11 are committing suicide more than whites. Is that right? The hell? The hell is that? Why is that? Is that true? I'll follow back up on that one. Somebody writes, cowards out here too scared to take an ass kicking. Mama boys. That's one way of looking at it. The other way is that people just look at that whole situation different now. They just get to it expeditiously. Oh, you want to do that? Okay, great. I'll just put you on the ground and that's over with. Cincy Tigers writes, they calculate the EFC, expected family contribution, based on parental income. Sometimes it's unrealistic. Lord knows my pockets were hurting from tuition for self and the youngster. That's exactly what they calculate. And I think a lot of times it's unrealistic. For some people, again, there's a zone for people that have put themselves in a position where they can take care of themselves. They may have a mortgage. They work every day. They may have 2 jobs. They may have 3 jobs or whatever. Professional folks pay their taxes. They're taking care of themselves and their family and the household. But what's the expense of college per month? $1,000 a month is too much for them. But on paper, the government says, oh, you make enough money. Oh, you got plenty of money to pay for your kids. We think that you can spend $2,000 a month to take care of your kids' tuition, which, again, could be completely unrealistic. What do? You're stuck. I knew a lot of folks like that back in the day. A lot of folks a lot of friends of mine and associates that was in that spot, same like I was. And they had to make it work. You have to make it happen. It builds character. Tough times build character. You got to bounce back. Cincy Tigers writes facts, Kush. We used to just fight. It was what it was, right? It was what it was. Yeah, yeah. Way back in the day, man. Listen, my uncle told me that they used to get into fist fights with handguns in their back pocket. You know, they got a weapon on them, but this is a fight. It's a fist fight. Seems like those days are gone. Those days long gone. Now, they'll just kill you. Yeah. Cincy Tigers writes, how do you change the mindset? Well, I think you change the mindset with a good example. And you start young. I mean, obviously there are some folks out there that are incorrigible. They cannot be reached. It's too far gone until they make the decision. That's it. It's all about that individual making a decision, I think. Like you can have all the great examples, you can have all the opportunities, you can have all the resources, you can have everything at your disposal. But if your mind isn't like, oh yeah, I want to take advantage of this, it doesn't make a damn difference. It makes no difference whatsoever. That's just me. Lynn writes, citizens can put limits on what council can approve without going to the voter. The taxpayer should decide 30 years of tax breaks. Huh. That's an interesting concept there, Lynn. Very interesting. TNT writes, good morning. Yeah, I heard that Joe went on the Lincoln Ware show yesterday and talked about the Truth to Power podcast. That's great. That's absolutely great. You know what I'm saying? When you know you're doing good work, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But I get it. I get it. I understand being sensitive about, you know, when you put your time and energy into something and then somebody want to say something to you, you're like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? I get it. I get it. I definitely understand it. But if you know you're doing good work in the community, such as the NAACP, that's all that really matters. The people that they touch, the work that they do, that's all that matters. Kush writes, knowledge of self is the answer. They feel worthless. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. I think there's a part of that as well. Like I love me. I love life. I love my family. Life means something to me. It's precious. That's why I say I'm not out here arbitrarily or flying off, you know, on the handle with a gun in my hand over something small. Trash. Happens. Happens, man. Happens all the time, unfortunately. It's very, very sad. Kiki writes, I just heard on the morning news that they are now saying student loan debt is out of control. I said, shit, they've been out of control. These empty nesters are now vexed because their adult college graduates' children have moved back home with no jobs. I'm just saying, right. That's been going on for about 15 years, Kiki, 20 years that's been reported. I think the trend, you know, yeah, about 10 years ago, I remember people talking about that. You know, empty nesters, man. You put your kids in college, you thinking, psh, we cool now. It's just you and me, babe. And then your baby's moving right back in at 21, 24. Living. I'm going to convert the garage, mom, into my own apartment. You know, that kind of stuff. Moving back into their own rooms, to their old rooms. Here you are. You thought you was going to convert that bedroom into an office. You thought that that bedroom was going to be converted into a home gym. No. Your baby's moving back in. Because they can't afford to take care of themselves because they can find a job, but the jobs don't pay enough. You know, there's lots of jobs out here now. Don't get that straight. There's a lot of jobs available, but the problem is they don't pay enough in a lot of cases. Derek Turner writes, the people have to take over the community. Derek, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Cincy Tigers writes, working with kids is a unique opportunity to try to influence the mindset, but the environment is toxic when they go home. Yep, you got to get with the young ones because get them before and develop good habits, good mental habits, good thought patterns. You know, good habits are not just actions, but it's thoughts as well. Pardon me. And offer opportunities for the people who are older who have the mindset to take advantage of it. If they don't, it is what it is. Fame writes, sorry guys, I had tuition remission at UC. Mama's a retired nurse and did a 30-piece there. But I took out small loans to something for the birds. I'm not sure. Oh man, you had it good then. So mom was a nurse at UC. So That meant that you got total free tuition. And it ain't free, you just don't have to pay for it. You got to work for it. You got to put the time in. They're not giving you passing grades. You got to actually go to the classes and do the work and perform. So, they just didn't have to pay for the expense, man. That's great, Fame. You hit a lick on that one, bro. That was excellent. I know you were happy. That's a smart woman right there. I bet she saw that coming the whole way, right? I bet she saw that coming the entire way. I bet the whole time she was thinking, I'm going to set my son up right. I'm going to set him up the right way. Let me see. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for starting my day. Absolutely. That's why I'm here. City Tigers writes, I expect the freeloader to return after graduation. I'm happy to help out until it's time to launch. Majestic writes, the boomerang child is an epidemic. Derek writes, get the bad cops out. I know guys that fear certain cops and will run even when not doing nothing out of fear. Is that right? You know guys that'll run just because on the Cincinnati police force? That's very interesting. That's sad, actually. Well, we learned yesterday, if you run, then Dan Hill's FOP president believes it's okay to get tasered. Just because. Come on in here, son. I love you, buddy. Daddy loves you. There it is. Sorry about that. Oh, man. That's great. That's Junior. He's coming back for more. Look at that. Nah, you can see it on YouTube. Thank you, son. He comes in every day. Usually I turn the microphone off, but why do that? And she just hasn't been able to make the ends meet. It just hasn't worked out for her. I just been talking with the mic off. I was talking with Junior there, so I put the microphone down so you couldn't hear. But if you were on YouTube, you could certainly see. But Junior is what I'm saying is that I have a cousin who's 23 years old, right? And she's working. She did not go to college. She went into the military, which I thought was very, very smart. She went to the military as a reservist and did the whole reserve thing, traveled the country doing training. She still does, like maybe 1 week in a month or something like that. And they offer some tuition assistance. They also offer some other, benefits as well. And she's struggling. She's got a job, but she's got two jobs because one doesn't pay enough for her. So maybe it's the type of job you get. Her lifestyle. She's got a real, I won't say she's meager, but she's frugal, right? She's got a roommate and still trying to put ends together. And she's got a regular job, but then she does like, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called it's not DoorDash, but it's something where, you can pick up people's groceries. So she does that on the side. She says she likes it, but she's also struggling. TNT writes, this is why I love talking to the kids we adopt at South Avondale and teaching them life skills on conflict resolution. Being a leader, not a follower. Love the skin you're in and never allow anyone to define who you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. City Tigers writes, TNT, I think you're right. My personal opinion is that all the kids need counseling. It should be part of the school day curriculum. City Tigers, I agree with you as well. I think all kids can benefit from having a counselor. What's a counselor? A counselor is not a therapist. A counselor is someone who just listen to them. They'll just talk. Just talk to them. I think a lot of adults could use a counselor, quite honestly. But we don't look at it that way. We don't look at it that way. He's one of the guys they fear along with Putnick and Ruberg. Are those officers? You put the name out and everything, huh? Putnick and Ruberg? Never heard of them, but I'll take your word for it. Tanika writes, I did everything myself, even all the applications, FAFSA. I got to the point where I started helping others too. Yeah, I did everything. My first year, I had help from the high school I was in. Like I said, I graduated from what people call a second chance school, Peter H. Clark Academy. And again, Peter H. Clark was a mofo. Black man, 1800s in Cincinnati, working very diligently to make sure that black people got equal education, things like that, right? So at that school, they really wanted the students to be successful because, from the outside looking in, it was like, those are the bad kids. The school was formed because they offered a diploma. And I remember they had some folks come in from UC. It was a black female. I'll never forget it. She was younger, pretty too. And she came in from UC because they had some kind of program, some kind of nonprofit or something in which they were trying to just, get kids educated and get them ready and fill out all their papers. I didn't know how to fill out those papers. They walked me through it and everything worked. Everything, was approved. And I was very, very pleased. After that, I sort of got the knack for it and was able to do it myself. But I remember over at UC, they had like a center where you could go and they would help you with your applications and stuff as well. I took advantage of all that stuff. All of it. TNT writes, you are absolutely right. The children need a counselor, therapist, and the family. I heard LeBron James School does all of it. They don't just help the kids, but the family too. Well, I don't know the details about what LeBron James is doing, but every time he's in the media, I always hear good things about it. I always hear great things. So what I would say is, and again, it's only so much you can do in a public school because they claim they got all these rules, right? But I mean, what I would say is that if there's good practices that LeBron James School is using, they should put them in place in some other schools. Having a counselor for a kid is a very expensive thing. Because think about it. Let's say you got 300 kids in the school building, and many of these school buildings have more than that. I check it. Let's say you got 500 kids, middle school through high school in one building. It's going to take more than one counselor to be able to, react to the needs of all of those people. And in most of these Cincinnati public schools, they claim they ain't got the money for it. They claim they don't have the money for it. That's what they claim. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they claim. All right, we got a call here early. Let's go to it. But I agree with you. I like the idea of a counselor being available for every single child. My daughter goes to Walnut Hills, and we got her a counselor. We got her a counselor because we thought that she could benefit from just having somebody other than us to talk to. And it's a black female counselor, as a matter of fact. Of course, we met her, reviewed with her, sat with her the whole 9 yards. We thought it was a great idea. It wasn't that our daughter had any problems. She didn't try to commit suicide. She doesn't have any depression issues. But it was teenage time and brand new school environment, highly competitive. And we thought, okay, she might need someone else other than us that she can meet with. Decompressing. It's a lot of decompressing. But then also this counselor helps her with skills on how to deal with different situations, how to interact with her peers, and also interact with us as well. So, I mean, she loves it. She loves it. Matter of fact, she sees her during the summer as well. And I think it's a great benefit. And here's the thing about it. We talk about what they talk about, but I don't go in great detail with her. I want her to have some space that's her own, so to speak. Of course, she ain't got no space. It's us. But I want to give her some latitude so she can develop good relationships with other role models. And a very smart sister, black female, and she's a counselor at my daughter's school. So far, she loves it. No problems. And I think it's helped her, just coping, decompressing, sometimes talking to somebody, not a dad or mom, I think, can be a good thing. As long as it's a trustworthy person. But enough of me, more of you. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guy?
How you doing? Welcome.
I'm absolutely outstanding. Um,
That's good to hear.
I gotta ask you a question. Did you kiss your son in the mouth?
No, I don't kiss him in the mouth, but I kiss him on
Oh,
the
so
cheek.
you,
I do kiss
oh,
my
so you're
son.
toxically masculine?
I wouldn't say that. No. Do you think
Oh,
kiss?
real, huh?
I don't think kissing your son or your daughter or was you talking about sons? Well, I don't think kissing a son is toxic masculinity. No.
No, kissing him in the mouth. He's only 4.
Well, I don't kiss him in the mouth. I kiss him on the cheek. I kiss him on the forehead.
Yeah, yeah, because you think kissing men in the mouth is gay.
No,
You're toxically masculine.
no, that's not why.
That's toxic masculinity. That's toxic masculinity.
Wow. Okay, if that's what you want to say, but no, that's not why. That's not why.
When up until my son was 5, I kissed him in the mouth. No problem with it.
You did?
You know, yeah, you out here on some Hank Hill stuff. You know, Henry, whatever that guy name on King of the Hill is, Hank Hill. You don't want to kiss your son in the mouth. It shows a different kind of love between you and your son.
Yeah, it certainly does. Now, were you kissed in the mouth by your father when you were younger?
No, he's from that. I wasn't allowed to rest my hands on my hips. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were playing ball. I can hear him yelling, "Get your hands off your hips!" You know what I'm saying? When I was playing pee wee football.
Right.
You understand? Yeah, he's from that era. Like, no, none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just, when I just heard y'all smacking, I didn't see it, but it sounded like you kissed him in the mouth. I was gonna give you kudos, but of course not. You're toxically masculine, just like most of the people.
No, I wouldn't say
it's
that.
okay.
I wouldn't say that.
I would. I would.
What makes you say that?
I'm sorry.
What makes you say
Any
that?
man who won't kiss his man in the mouth is doing it because he thinks it'll turn his son gay.
That's a stretch. I never even thought that.
It's not a stretch. It's the truth.
A stretch. That's a stretch. I never even thought that. And matter of fact, I can't tell you why. I just never did it. I don't know.
Because you always knew it to be unacceptable.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
No, I mean.
Okay, if you say so. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I do say so because you're talking about me and what I'm thinking. So yeah, I do say so. I mean, I know me better than you do. So what I'm telling you is yeah, maybe by a little bit. But the reason why that never crossed my mind, I've never really thought about it. I never really thought about it one way or the other.
Because it's second nature for you because you thought it to be gay.
No, that's not it at all. I don't think it to be gay.
You're a conservative hiding.
No, I'm not a conservative hiding. So I don't
You're
think it's gay.
You're a conservative fronting. Yes, you are.
No, you're a conservative fronting.
Okay.
No, you're a conservative fronting.
No, I'm all middle, all day, every day.
No, that's what you say, but you're really a conservative fronting. So,
why can't I be like one of the twins that just lean one way, which I don't even lean one way?
I know,
because men don't lean.
You're fully conservative. You're just faking it. But, back to what you were saying about kiss on the mouth. I ran into Jeff Pastor at that Black Media event that you tried to trash and didn't go to, and it was great. And he was talking about, you tried to trash it, but you didn't go to it, but it was great. But when I was there,
talking about the event for black men that was put on by a gay black man and held on a basketball court while we worried about images of black youth?
Yeah, I'm talking about the event.
We put them on a basketball court and talk to them?
Yeah, I'm talking about the event that you didn't go to, that they had all these prominent black men in the
community. The savage black beast like being on a basketball court.
Yeah. So that event, the event where there was a
where did you get the keynote address from? The free throw line?
Okay, you go ahead.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
You done? Okay, great. I want you to get it all out this morning. So, yeah, the event where there was a panel of black men. They were talking, many of them, all of them married to black women. They were talking about their black families. Including a member of city council named Jeff Pastor. And on that panel, he talked about kissing his son on the mouth and how other people had a problem with it. I think he had posted on Facebook. I had no problem with it whatsoever. I think that's affection and love. But I think I think every father and every mother, they have their own way. So just to put it out there.
All right. Well, yeah. I have no problem.
I think it's I think it's an incredible display of love and affection for your child. I have no problem with it. I don't think one way about it at all. It sounds like you do though.
Okay. I told you I had no problem kissing my son in my mouth. My mother cringed first time she seen me do it. You
Right.
know, she's from that era.
So at what
You know,
age?
old as dirt from down there in the South.
Right. So
You know what I'm saying?
let me challenge you a little bit. So what age did you stop kissing him in the mouth?
Oh, I said when he was about 4 or 5.
Why'd you stop?
Just because he was too big for that.
Because he was too big for it. So toxic masculinity, huh? So you thought if you was kissing your son in the mouth past the age of 4, that might turn him gay. Is that what you were thinking?
No, I didn't think it would turn him gay. I just thought it was inappropriate. That boy's too big to be kissed for another man to be kissing him in the mouth.
Inappropriate? That
That's
sounds
all.
like toxic masculinity. I mean, if you love your son, what difference does it make what his
It
age
is what it is. It is what it is. If I'm toxically masculine, I have no problem accepting the same.
Right. So you was projecting this morning. So you're toxically masculine, not me.
No, I don't think I am. But like I said, if somebody
Just
wants to
admit
think
it, you
I am,
were.
I have no problem accepting the same. I don't give a damn what you think about me.
Ditto.
You know?
Ditto. But I'm just saying, you the one that brought it up. So why did you stop kissing your son in the mouth?
My nickname in the streets
if
is
you were
TN.
comfortable with it, Fame, if you were comfortable with it, then why'd you stop?
Because, like I said, I just think he was too old. We wasn't about to be, what's too old? I mean, look at Baby and Wayne. They 30 years old and 40 years old. They tilting their head kissing. Like, okay, what's going on here?
That's not his real father.
That's what make it even worse, B.
Maybe so. But all I'm saying is obviously you got some issues and some hangups with that, man. Don't project that on me. I don't have those problems. I'll kiss my son.
I'm still kissing him on the head as long as I'm taller than him.
I'll kiss my son and embrace my son until he die. I don't care how old he is.
Exactly. Same here. But I'm just going to stop kissing him in the mouth after once he reaches kindergarten.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you can embrace and you're comfortable with your toxic masculinity, that's all good with me, man. I can handle that.
But right. I mean, as long as I'm taller than him, I still kiss him on the head, on the cheek, like that. That's not a problem.
That's not a problem. Ain't a problem at all.
But you were talking about, shouts out to your daughter's school counselor, because counselor, that was the first master's program I was in, school counselor. And I didn't like it because it seemed to be rooted in data collection. And I wasn't with that. You know what I'm saying? Grouping kids, basically tracking without tracking. Because all the classrooms are feature inclusion, no matter what academic level you're in, everybody can be grouped in the same classroom. But at the same time, the counseling program seems to be about just data collection on who was, proficient at this, who's proficient at that, blah, blah, blah. It didn't seem to, offer any techniques on, what you were talking about, what's going on with your daughter. Because I was in counseling for basically kids like me, above average black men. Academically above average black men that will easily fall by the wayside in the school district because nobody expects us to be. Well, if you're above average academically, they expect you to be kind of a nerd and quiet. They don't expect you to be able to excel in athletics as well. They try to pigeonhole you. There's some young black men who are good at multiple things in these schools, and that's who I was there for. And then I just dropped the program like this ain't what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
No,
so shout out to your.
I definitely get the whole thing about being pigeonholed because, like I said, I'm 6'4". When I was younger, I was very, very active, playing ball every day. People used to come at me like that, like, oh, you got to choose. Either you're going to be great in basketball or you're going to be smart. I always thought it was the dumbest thing ever. Made no damn sense.
And that's why, and then, like I said, that's why I kind of left the program. So shout out to your daughter's counselor. She seems to be going above and beyond the call of duty to help those black children. And I'm with Dr. Umar because I think that most of these counselors today, or what your daughter's doing is kind of what your daughter's counselor is doing. Pardon me. What she's doing is kind of reserved for the school psychologists, people like Dr. Umar. And, unless I'm wrong, but it just seemed like that. Like, okay, so I got to go through this, get this master's, and then get another certificate for school counselor. Go to school for another year and a half. It was just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, red tape and paperwork I just wasn't willing to endure at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he, obviously, that's why he, talks about starting a school and whatnot for black boys, because the education model is not meant for black people, more specifically black boys.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you one thing. When Dr. Umar is talking about child psychology and how to interact with the schools, I think he's, in a lot of cases, 100% spot on. Makes a lot
Oh,
of
that's
good
his
points.
bag, yeah.
Yeah, that's his bag. He makes a lot of sense. Like I even learned some things from when he came to Cincinnati. Like on a yearly basis, making sure that you're checking your child's record, making sure you're checking
Right.
what they're putting on your child's permanent record. That if you go, that the next teachers are going to see in the next grade level, and that if administrators change, they're going to see that as well. That's very important. Very important.
Yes.
Knowing what's being written about
Yes.
your child, because these teachers will read it and it's going to give them a viewpoint about your kid. It'll stigmatize them. They'll be biased before they even step in the classroom. And sometimes that can end up real bad.
Oh, and it's even worse inside the teachers' lounge. They're shitting on your kids. They're dogging kids in those teachers' lounges.
Oh, I was there. I know. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I have
it's
many
not.
tough conversations. Many tough conversations in the teachers' lounge. They act like that's some kind of sacred space.
Right, right, and they're just and the whole time, the whole 20 minutes or however long they're in there, the classroom, on their break or whatever, the planning bill, all they're doing is dissing students. They're not talking about nothing else. I was just like, I'm leaving. I got some lesson planning to do. I would just always make up some flimsy excuse to get out because I didn't want to hear it. It was very disheartening. It's like I thought we were in this for the children. This is supposed to be a labor of love, but yet y'all keep talking about, just outlandish foul stuff about sixth graders. Like, come on now, this ain't fresh at all. White teachers, black teachers, all of them. It was very disheartening. But as far as my tuition remission, no, my mother, I don't think she did that. But then again, I was the youngest of six, and so she had already been working there, long before, I, was born, and all but two of my siblings. You understand? So it was just kind of one of those things that we knew that that's what we were supposed to do. But only two of us graduated from there like that. The other four wanted no part of college because they went to Cape, and they wasn't prepared academically for college going through Cape. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how that went. It was just kind of just like, okay, great, never got free lunch and whatnot. But what's her name? Tigress said this. The EFC, expected family contribution, is totally off base, offset. Because at the time my mother, all of my brothers and sisters were grown, but they don't understand. Say looking at my mother's income and say, okay, you only have one child in the house, but those other five might need help. They're not thinking of that. And there's grandchildren involved. They're not taking all that into consideration.
Right.
And the way the black family works.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the educational model is not based on us.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why, even though I had tuition remission, I still took out loans to front. Plus I had to buy books. That doesn't come a part of the tuition remission. You know what I'm saying? They're telling us to, pay $175 for a book you might read 3 chapters out of.
Yep. And then you sell the
see what I'm
book, they
saying?
give you $50 for it, $40 for it, and then they turn around and sell the book for $90.
That. Exactly. So that whole cycle. So it's kind of a sham. So I'm backing regardless of party. I'll be willing to listen to any candidate that talks about college loan, college education reform.
Well, at least
I'm willing to give them an ear.
Bernie's got a plan. Elizabeth Warren has a plan. I'm sure that others have plans, and they'll be announced as well.
Both canceled all the way because they wanted to take care of college tuition, but they don't want to be a part of black reparations.
Well,
now this gay reparations has a real movement, and Elizabeth Warren has already jumped on it.
What has now? Say again.
Gay reparations. She was at a gay reparations rally. Yes, that is like the big thing. Are you not paying attention on social media? That's all they're talking about now. Gay reparations.
Gay reparations. What the hell?
Gay reparations. Every time, just like I told your ass when you was doing Edna Howe show on the Win, way back when. Every time black folks do something, gays try to jump on it, but you trying to be righteous.
Every time black
The
folks
black
do
people don't, black people
anything,
don't own
anytime
the patent to civil rights.
it ain't just politics, it's music, it's culture, it's everything. We all know that. Anytime
Yeah,
black people do anything, it gets somebody tries to come across
and hijack it.
and hijack it or clone it.
Yes, and that's what the gay
Give
people
you
have done,
Elvis.
and that's why those two candidates you mentioned are immediately canceled. One doesn't want any reparations for blacks. One lightly tried to talk about it, but she stood up for gay reparations. You're both canceled. Next.
So let me ask you a question. So if somebody like Elizabeth Warren, if she says, "Look, I believe in reparations for DOS, descendants of slaves," but then she starts talking about these reparations for gay folks, does that take away from what she's saying about reparations for DOS?
Yes, it does. Because you don't get reparations or get to be made whole for a choice you made. Gays don't deserve reparations. Ain't no cops ever shot nobody because they was sucking a dick. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody ever got lynched because they was, they chose to sleep with other men or, women sleeping with women. Ain't none of that ever happened by the state.
You sure about
that? You might have some bigots out there,
right?
Some general bigots who work in the community, but the state ain't never sanctioned it, like they do with us. Killing us and walking away from it. You might get charged as a peace offering, an olive branch, but they walk away from those all the time. When has a cop ever? And then they always say, well, he didn't violate your civil rights because he didn't say, any racial epithets or anything like that. That's all a plot too. We know what you mean when you killing us. You don't have to say it. What's already known don't need to be said no way. We know why you're killing us. But they don't do that with the gays.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hunt them down and come in a community, reckless. Ain't no shot spotter, in the gay communities or whatever.
I'm looking at it now. It's called the Refund Equality Act. That's what she's been talking about, the Refund Equality Act. And apparently it was introduced back in 2016. It will allow LGBT couples who were married prior to a 2013 Supreme Court decision to amend their tax returns. So apparently prior to 2013, gays weren't allowed to put each other on their tax returns. And so this $57 million would be something like a tax refund fund for married LGBT couples.
But see, when it comes to black folks, they always tell us, well, slavery was legal then. I mean, it was bad, but it was legal.
Well,
that's the first thing that'll push out of their mouth.
Now, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is what Mitch McConnell said. Well, nobody alive was a slave owner. That's the first thing.
Okay. I'll accept it. Just for the okay. All right. But yeah, they don't. No, they don't need that. The gays don't need that. And that's reparations for them. That's some bull. You know what I'm saying? You candidates come out quickly jumping on that one. For years, we've been trying to get at least close to being made whole, but there's always resistance, some form of resistance. But when it comes to the gays, you're pretty much all in on it. You're for, yeah, you're right. We should have been allowing them to get married. F out of here.
Well,
you feel me?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that gay people should been allowed to get married?
I don't care what gay people do.
Yeah, but you brought it
up. It's none of my business.
You brought it up.
It's none of my business. But when you're talking about reparations and you haven't spoke out on our behalf, F y'all.
So you didn't answer my question though. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Like, as I read
I did answer. I did answer it. I don't give a damn what they do.
Well, you must give a damn because you brought it up. I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
No, I just don't like them piggybacking on what we've done.
Well, this ain't really piggybacking. Kinda, it is. It's kind of like that.
They wouldn't have the heart to ask for reparations if there wasn't such a strong black national push. See, I keep telling you, the gays think that being
Well,
gay is
again,
some type of honorable achievement.
I hear what you're
They're
saying, but to
arrogant.
be
Those
factual,
fuckers are arrogant.
I hear what you're saying, but to be factual, from what I'm reading, again, you brought this up, so you must care about this. I didn't bring it up. So to be factual, from what I'm reading, it said this was introduced back in 2013. But I agree with you. Now that everybody's talking about, DOS and reparations, now you're gonna see other groups trying to get in as well. I agree with you, but people have to make their own decision. If you believe that
Listen,
gay
if I say
people,
it's a sunny day, that doesn't mean I care about the weather like that. I'm just making note of something.
I'm just saying. I mean, if we're gonna bring it up, we got to talk about it all the way through. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so, you're the talk show host. Your show, your rules, B.
Oh boy.
But no, I don't want to talk about,
Somebody's got
you know,
attitude.
ain't nobody got no attitude. That's not me. I'm just saying, I don't mess with them like that. But I see what they doing. I don't admire it. I think it's some bull. Like I said,
Yeah.
let gay people talk to you. Listen to their argument, and they sound like they trying to say that being gay is an honorable deed. You know what I'm saying? And no, it's not. You just made a choice. That's all.
Right. Again, I'm with you on a
That's
lot of
all.
that, man. But if you're gonna bring up what's going on, then I'm gonna try to figure out what they're actually saying here, and that's what it's all about. It's not, hey, we gay, so we've been oppressed. It was apparently, and again, I ain't saying I necessarily agree with it, but in 2013 there was a Supreme Court ruling. Once that changed, people are saying, hey, we should have been allowed to be gay and be married and therefore get each other's benefits, and we were not. So that's the gist of it. Just so you know, from what I read.
Before they go back 6 years and make something right, can we go back 500 and make something right first?
Amen on that one. I'm with you.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you all
Pump
day.
the mother flipping brakes, gay people. That's all. We had no choice as we were getting hunted down in Africa, being sold on ships, being, coming around here on a month-long journey on ships, shackled up. We had no choice.
Exactly.
Regardless of King and Chief probably had a big beef, as I quote another rap song.
Yeah. I ain't even gonna say nothing on your contradictions. I'm gonna let you have that one.
Yeah, thank you. I'm about to get in the barber chair. I'll holler at you at the next moon.
Oh my gosh. Good call, man. Rackham. Appreciate it. But again, you brought it up. you brought it up. I don't care about gay people. What the fuck you bring it up for? You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. But since you brought it up, I just want to make sure we know what we're talking about. And it is what it is. It is what it is. For me, as it relates to what other people are doing with reparations, my concern is one, does this impact, DOS? Does that impact that in any way? And, you're absolutely right, man. That's how I know. Black folks create it. Other people want to steal it. Oh, we got it too. We was oppressed too. Pump the brakes. Yes and no. We hear what you're saying. My thing is this: with all this DOS conversation and reparations, we got to make something out of this. Something's got to break. The Democrat Party is so serious about this. It's gonna have to be more than lip service in 4 years and 5 years. Because we spending a lot of energy talking about this, but I'm wondering, where is it really going? Is this just campaign bluster? How realistic is this? And if it's not realistic, how much time should we spend on it? I don't know. But I appreciate the phone call there. See, Sissy Tigers writes, that's great, Nate. I did the same thing for the same reasons, right? Virgos. Kush writes, I'm still cool with my high school counselor. Cool dude till this day. TNT writes, I learned at the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus that a bill has been passed for more mental health services in schools in Ohio. So we should see that soon in our public schools. Thank you for that. That is good news. And even at my daughter's school, which is Wanna Hills, we got the word. Matter of fact, I'm attending a parent event in early August because, as I said, there was a lot of parents who were very concerned, and they posseed up to try to have, a positive impact on what's going on. And I did hear that got the email that there are more counselors coming to the school, which is a great thing. It's a great thing. I mean, it may not be widely reported, but there's a lot of kids over there that want a Hill School, man, that's under hella stress, trying to be valedictorian and, trying to get to an Ivy League school. They got these parents that are pushing them, pushing them, pushing them, pushing them. And then, unfortunately, as I've said before, you've got, counselors, administrators, and teachers that, I think they don't necessarily make the problem easier. In some cases, I think they make it harder. So that's a great thing there. I mean, did I have a counselor? I don't remember having a counselor in high school. It's a different time then. I mean, all schools have counselors, but I don't remember having a counselor per se. Sissy Tigers writes, on the mouth, probably more accurate. What the hell was he talking about? So Fame calls in and asks me, do I kiss my son on the mouth? I said, no, I kiss him on the cheek. Oh, that's toxic masculinity. Well, then he admits that he kisses his son on the mouth, but he stopped when he was 4 or 5 because he thought it was inappropriate. What in the hell? Talk about a circular argument. It made no damn sense. What's the difference? It made no sense. It's like he just wanted to talk some shit, but it's all good, man. I appreciate the energy. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. But that made no sense. I don't judge people. Like I said, I was at that Black Male Media Project, and Jeff Pastor was talking about how he had posted something. Maybe it's a picture of him kissing his son on the mouth. That's him and his son. I don't think anything of it. I didn't think two thoughts about it. I thought it was a wonderful display of black love. A black man loving his child. You kiss him on the nose if you want to. Makes no difference. For me personally, I've never done it. I don't know. Maybe it's because that's how I was brought up. That's probably what it is. Nobody kissed me on the mouth. I got plenty of kisses on the cheek. I got a whole bunch of sugar from my grandma. But none of the men in my life kissed me on the lips or the cheek or anything like that. Forehead, yeah. But like I said, those were different times. Like I said, my folks came from the South, just like your folks probably came from. We all came from the same places. If you're black in Cincinnati, your folks migrated 99.9%. They probably migrated from the South, looking for jobs and getting away from what they believed to be virulent Southern racism. Then they got up here and realized it was a whole nother level of racism. Those kind of men were a little different. So that's probably where I picked it up from. See, Kiki writes, in the mouth is tongue kissing. Is it? Yeah, I just never went there. But I'm a very affectionate dad. I believe in touching my kids and letting them know they hear it, they feel it, they know it from me. There's no doubt about it. Hell, I stop the show to embrace my son every morning. And I kiss him every morning. I'm going to continue to do it. And all who don't like it can kiss my black ass. It makes no damn difference. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way any father should be with your kids. I'm not here to judge another man by that. As long as you showing love, that's all that really matters. You taking care of the bills, you holding down moms, making sure the house is right. Psh, what difference does it make? We need more love, more black love. This is crazy. Cincy Tigers writes, so why stop at 5? Right. That's what I said, Cincy Tigers. Fame was he was on one this morning. Who knows? Bunky writes, nasty ass women's, LOL. What? Nasty ass women. Kiki writes, he wasting phone time. He was out there. Jackie writes, forehead and cheek is appropriate. I agree. Karamir writes, mental health services in schools were, where did you read that? I think that's a wonderful idea. Well, she actually went up to the State House, up to Columbus, I believe, and that's where she got that information. I believe that's where it was. Hold on, I'm getting a text here. Somebody says, look in the camera. I'm looking in the camera. I'm looking in the camera now. I will have a meeting with my job soon, so not at this time. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Oh, Kiki writes, drop wants the ladies to call in. Someone writes, I think the Cape model was great. They need to bring that back. It could make a difference. I don't know it. What was the Cape model exactly? Mike Davis writes, Fame, I expected more from you. You should have set those teachers in the lounge straight. Yeah, I've been in the lounge, and he's right. the teachers do go back there and they talk about the students. They do. Some students. It's not all they talk about from my experience, but they do. As you would imagine, I mean, teachers are nothing more than human beings with a title called teacher. They're human beings. Human beings talk about things. If you got a child in one class and they're giving you problems, it's very natural for a teacher to go and talk with the other teachers that child has to see if they have similar problems. And if they do and they're persistent, that will happen. That's why I said I've seen kids and heard about kids being labeled. They get labeled. And they get labeled because the teachers and administrators, they're dealing with these issues over and over again. And, I've seen teachers put kids out of the school. Out of the classroom. The kid spends the whole day with the security officer. Whole day long, they with the security officer. Wherever the security officer goes, the kid's right there. That's a win. That's like going to Kings Island. You're not in class. If you're the security officer, what's the security officer doing all day? He's putting out fires. He or she's putting out fires and dealing with drama. And now the kid's riding shotgun with that all day long. Yeah. Yeah. TNT writes, this new law being passed on a state level that has bipartisan support. Mm-hmm. Fame writes, Mike Davis writes, Fame. I think I read that as well already, yes. Says she'll check the notes to give us some specifics. Appreciate that. CPS has magnet schools now based around specific sciences and such. Why not physical education? Especially these days. Drop writes, gay reparations get a check? I guess that's the way you can look at it, reparations. Yeah, I think so. Pamela writes, Matthew Shepard fame. Yeah, Matthew Shepard he was a gay guy that got beat up by, he wasn't, these people weren't actors of the state or of the government. It wasn't police officers. It wasn't government agents. These were just some just citizens, and they beat him to death. That's what happened. Gay reparations for what? Oh, I know. They need their Twizzler. What? Can't read that. I'm not reading that. Broadway Flo writes, I posted an article on that in the Friends page a while ago. It was a New York Times article. If black folks are not careful, they'll find themselves doing the heavy lifting for LGBTQIA plus and brown folks. First things first. I agree with you. I agree with you. Angela writes, my time and energy is overwhelmingly consumed with the injustices against black people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Same here. Has always been. From day one. From day one. Jackie writes, why should gays get reparations? Let me post this for you. So for folks who, again, so you can check it out for yourself. I did find the article, and apparently it has to do with the fact that homosexuals, gay people, were not allowed to get married, and therefore they couldn't share benefits and things like that. So when the Supreme Court changed that, people, again, I read this very quickly just on the air, so I didn't process all of it, but this is my thoughts just gleaning it. So you have to read it for yourself to maybe capture all the information for yourself, but that's what seems to be the gist of it. It's not the same. It's kind of the same, but it's not the same as ADOS. What I would say is, if anybody else is going to get reparations in this country, it should be ADOS first. And then we can deal with everything else. Because we can't keep saying this was the original sin, but then now these, other sins that came in afterward are going to be addressed first. That's what my personal opinion would be, if we're going to be real about it. That's where it should start. Start with the descendants of slave first, and then work your way to everybody else. Now, it's too late for that. It's too late for that, but because, other groups have gotten paid off. Japanese Americans who were interned during the war, they got paid off. Jewish Americans, they got paid off, even under the Obama administration. So, for me, in 2019, I want to see us get that first, and then we can start having other conversations. So I agree with Fame on that one, 100%. I agree with Angela on that one, 100%. Bunky is wrong. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading that one, man. Oh, man. TNT writes, you're too consumed with the act. They just want to live their lives without ridicule. Speaking of gay folks, absolutely. People do really get consumed with, it's an act. It's something that you do. It's something that you choose. And we can get debate back and forth about whether you choose to be gay or not. You know where I stand on it. I do not believe that gay people choose to be gay. Are there people out there that are confused? Sure, there are. Absolutely. But I believe overwhelmingly, why would you choose to be gay and be persecuted, or looked upon as the other in this community, in this society, if you don't have to be? I just don't believe that. And all the gay people I've ever talked to over the years, whether it be authors of books who are writing about the experience or callers, they've all said the same thing. I knew since I was young, Nate. So I take them by their word. And the other thing about that, where I need to correct Fame again, is he said that you shouldn't get reparations for an act. And see, I think that you're looking at being gay differently. You just like heterosexual. So, for instance, I'm a heterosexual man, whether I have sex or not. If I never had sex again in my life, I'm a heterosexual man. That's my mentality. That's who I see myself as. Necessarily, it's completely different from the act. So check it. You can be gay and be celibate and never have sex. There are plenty of heterosexual people, maybe in the church, who don't ever have sex. They've never had intercourse, but they're still heterosexual, right? That's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Set me straight. 513-873-7134. Carmen writes, hey, Nate, one day soon, will you talk about Trump and Pence blame Democrats for the horrible conditions immigrant children are suffering at the detention center? Question mark. No water, soap, toothbrush, blankets, and lice is running rampant. The children are dying. Modern day slavery. I think it's a damn shame. Yeah, I've read about it, and I will spend some time perhaps in the near future talking about it. Yeah, it's a damn shame. It was a damn shame. It is. It is. TNT writes, I wonder if there will be gay people within their community arguing against their reparations like we have in our camp, or will they be united and get it before us? Shaking my head. Right. There are black people, and we saw a brother that said that we don't deserve reparations because reparations is not going to change the prison industrial pipeline, the school to prison pipeline. And reparations are not going to create jobs. And reparations, this and that. What? It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But that's a good point, though. Iris writes, good morning at Karamia. It was awesome to meet you at the town hall for Judge Hunter. Yes, it was. That's great. That's great. It's always great for people to connect. I wasn't there, of course, but that's great. Let me see here. Let me see. I have my meeting to attend. Okay, Kiki, thank you so much for being here. None of my elders never kissed me in my mouth. That's why I don't kiss none of these hoes in their mouth today. Dude, really? Really? Fame writes, who said I wasted phone time? Your dad should have squirted you into a tissue. Bunky writes, Karamia, there is no gay gene. It's a choice for slum sex. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to get into a conversation about that right now, but again, there's different viewpoints about it. All the schools too critical to be sensible. I would cut up every day to go play pseudo security guard all day, shaking my head. I've seen it. Sad too. Called it out. Because the kid wasn't getting education whatsoever, but the kid would go into the classroom, this particular student, I won't say kid, the student would go into the classroom. I think we're talking about fourth, fifth grader. And the kid over the years just got a reputation for just having multiple outbursts. So if you're a teacher, you're trying to teach, you got 27 kids in there, and then one kid is not only not paying attention, but is now distracting the other kids. You should be in your room and, sitting down, facing forward, but this student is turning around and engaging the students in something that's making them laugh and giggle, or otherwise it's taking the attention away from the administrator or the teacher. That becomes a problem. So they send the student to the principal. But what's the principal going to do? Talk to the child. Hey, Johnny, you should do this. You should do this, Johnny. Do this, do this. Okay, I'll do it. Send Johnny back to the classroom. Johnny does it again. This time he's standing up looking outside the window. So there's some kids who understand if they get in so much trouble, they're like, oh, nothing's really going to happen. Or I get to go play with the security guard all day. They're outside. They're in the parking lot. They eat lunch together. When something happens, the kid goes with them. And then mom kid picks up the kid at the end of school day, like, hey, how was your day today? Oh, it's great. Now, how's that child going to pass? It's not. It's not going to happen. Bunky writes, a lot of gay people choose to be gay because they're socially awkward as teens and they have problems getting attention from the opposite sex. So they tend to gravitate towards each other. The gay people who are well-to-do or the beautiful people are just whores. I think you're out there on a limb, but okay. All right. Bunky writes, Drop is letting Biden off the hook for his racist past. I was talking with a black man yesterday in his late 50s, like 59 years old, and he was telling me how much he believes that Biden is his front runner right now. And he's well aware of the things that Biden allegedly said and did and continues to say. But he feels like Biden is the best choice to beat Trump because this particular individual's attitude is anybody but Trump. Like I said, that's going to be what it comes down to when it comes to Biden. You know, is this going to be, for people that are going to vote in 2020 and not vote for Trump? Is this going to be one of those situations where you hold your nose and vote, as many people did with Hillary Clinton? We shall see. Depends on who gets the nomination. We shall see. Do I have to call in to get the overseer on the phone to explain himself after defending white Democrats segregationists? You may have to. Bunky writes, it's terrible what's happening to the migrant children, but the used or babies for gator bait and to feed their dogs. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, these migrants are here to replace us. Heard it over and over again, over and over again. Karamia writes that Tanika, love your crusade on no bonnet wearing outside, LOL. That's funny. Ray writes, Electoral College, it's all I'll say. Man, listen, here we go into another election cycle. Okay. And if you're interested, let me double check here. I want to confirm that we do have this space. Okay. And I'm going to set this up on multiple days here. If you want to come out and watch the debates with the Nathan Ivey Show, the friends like the Nathan Ivey Show, you can do so. And we're going to set up the first event will be over at Scott Teeny's on Wednesday. Let me double check here. I want to make sure I confirm. Okay, so I just confirmed, and I'll hear back in a second. So stay close to my Facebook page and the friends page as well, and I'll make sure I post it and let people know. And then, of course, tomorrow morning I'll be talking about it as well. If you want to come out, please feel free to do so. If you can't come out, then I'll live stream it so you can see what's going on. All right? Somebody says we need one for Wednesday and Thursday. Somebody says the Greenwich in Walnut Hills. Okay. All right. I'll make that happen. We'll see what's going on. Same thing happens to Black American children forced into homelessness. Get in line, brown people. Let's see. Somebody writes, quick making salient points to Ray in regards of her posting about the Electoral College. I think that's absolutely great. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, man. I mean, we know what happened last time. Everybody was like, oh, we got to change the Electoral College. It's got to change. But how much has changed in the last 4 years? What are we waiting on? If you haven't already done so, please go over to Sin Digital Media and check out the latest Is It Just Me podcast. And Donnie B and Rodney Harris spent last Friday breaking down some of the critical things that you need to know as it relates to your child's safety and security when dealing with law enforcement. If you haven't already checked that out, please do so. CIN Digital Media on Facebook. You can check it out right now. And it's up on my page as well. It's in the friends page. Check it out. Very important information. What else here? I'm not sure where Glenn is. I'm sure he'll turn up if he's out there. Appreciate it. So this far this morning, we've been talking about local issue. We've been talking about the response from the Cincinnati police chief, and I'm getting your response to his response. I mean, we are the citizens, those of us that live in Cincinnati. So it makes sense that we should have a conversation about it. And just getting your thoughts. I mean, so far what's come up is people believe maybe we need more surveillance in these communities. So if you got a neighborhood where there is somebody who, has been shot, or there's a series of shootings, people are saying their response should be shot spotter, surveillance, and more cops on the street. That makes sense. At the same time, if we're interacting with the youth, putting up great examples, offering a different way, trying to change the mentality, I mean, that's as much as you can do. I don't think there's any place on earth that has like no homicides or murders. Like, that's interesting. What city in America, what major city comparable to Cincinnati has the least amount of homicides? And if so, what are they doing that's so different? What are they doing that's so different? Please let me know. Good morning to Jesse. I want to say good morning to Jesse, Ray, um, so many others, man, for posting inside the friends page. Appreciate it. Tracy. There you go. Appreciate it. It's a little Buddha. Appreciate you for that. Oh, okay. I see somebody posted. Yeah, I ain't even worried about it. Who posted that? Was that Daryl? I ain't even worried about it, Daryl. I mean, people could think what they want to think. If that's what they want to think, then it is what it is. I'm talking about the folks over there, and who on the FOP, who may have some kind of issue. Somebody sent me a message. Okay, definitely. Okay, for sure. Definitely. Just got a message about a podcast. Absolutely. What is this? The hell? Yeah, I think it was Michael Egan. I think it was Michael Egan sent me a man. He sent me like a term paper after that conversation yesterday, where he went through all the stuff that the FOP is doing, and I guess he was trying to give me the business. I read some of it. I didn't get a chance to read all of it because it was long, just long ass message. And I'm like, dude, listen, you got to listen to the conversation before you just go off half cock like that, thinking that you know what happened just because Dan Hills told you one side of it. And it is what it is. It's part of the reason why it's so hard to talk to the other side. But I get it. I get it. I get it 100%. That's the game that Dan Hills wants to play. So be it. I did converse with him, let him know what's going on. I did see what he posted, and said, look, hope the door is still open. He did respond. So we'll see what's going on. See what happens in a lot of places, and I think what happens in this city is sometimes I see people will fall out about one issue or have a disagreement about one issue, and then that one issue will completely cloud over the way that they look at them forever now. And that's what Dan Hills wanted to do. You could hear that. Oh, he said, "Gotcha. You got everything." I'm like, okay, if you want to run with that, B, then go ahead and run with it. Then go ahead and run with it. Go right ahead. Okay, we getting the call here. We'll bring you on. Appreciate you. 513-873-7134. Let me see. Odama. Wait. Ray, it will never be changed. It's the powers that be, ace in the hole. They will never give the power to the people. The commoners making decisions on who the prez is not going to happen. It's greater forces at work choosing our president than simply voters. I agree. I agree with that. It's the donors. It's the donors as well. It's the people that run the super PACs, donors. It's the gatekeepers. We know who it is. Or we know that something's going on. We'll put it that way. We may not know the names of them individuals, but we already know. Broadway Flow writes, Dan Hills was doing damage control. That is what he was doing. Pamela writes, I am always busting Michael Egan on his racist BS. Somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to do it. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your bright-eyed and bushy-tailed West Side Connection. Drop Squad 52.
Good morning.
Mr. Ivey, good morning, sir. I wasn't going to call today because I don't want to overflow your airwaves with superlative flows and just dropping science all over the place. But I tried to call out Mr. Mason Mahler, a.k.a. the Chop Shop Overseer, for that call he placed on your show yesterday toward the end. And because it was the extra play of the Nathan Ivey show yesterday in the 8 o'clock hour, I'm sure a lot of your regular listeners did not hear Mr. Mason Mahler, the caper, the defender of the Democrat Party. Now, Nate, again, I think you should do your due diligence, sir, and go retrieve that call and play it live on air so everyone can hear it, Mr. Ivey. Now, I don't know if that's part of your strategy as far as your show to play previous callers' last calls on the show. I don't know if you do that, but I know you're capable of doing it because, Mr. Ivey, how is it possible that Joe Biden, 70-something years old, okay, the vice president of the first black president, some would say the second black president, but I'm not going down that road. How is it possible that this guy can beat Trump when the person that Barack Obama endorsed in 2016, who he told the world that was the most qualified candidate to ever run for president, plus Barack had the audacity to say that if people who voted for him did not vote for Hillary, that Barack, he would feel offended. So I'm asking you, Nate, considering how Barack Obama has carried himself since he has been out of the White House, we haven't heard a word from him, okay? How is it possible that his vice president can beat Donald Trump? I just don't see it because it just ain't enough young black folks that vote for Democrat in the Democrat Party are going to turn out for Joe Biden. I don't see it, Mr. Ivey. Can you please try to explain it real quick?
Well, explain what exactly?
Because you said that you met a older gentleman who said that he's going with Joe Biden right now.
You said that,
and
yeah.
He doesn't care.
Well,
okay, how old was that? How old was
he's
that man?
59.
59. Exactly, Nate. That's
59,
what I'm talking
born
about.
and raised in the city of Cincinnati.
Okay, how old is Glenn Mason or
I don't know.
Mr. Mahler from?
I don't know.
He's over 50 because I thought I heard him say he's over 50 now, or he just turned 50.
Okay.
Okay. So all I'm saying, Nate, that age group, that demographic in the Democrat Party, they're good. They'll go for this old school racism. Oh, we look the other way. Oh, so what? He wore blackface in his yearbook. So what? He posed next to the KKK costume, whether it was him or not. Nobody cares about that. But these young folks, Nate, these young folks, new black media like yourself, these young folks that's running the Root, these young folks that's running the Griot, these young folks that are part of Huffington Post Black Voices, Nate, I'm telling you, I see it. They ain't buying it.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me. I already know. You're right. They got a different energy.
Yeah, you already know.
They got a different energy. They ain't going for that at all.
Now, yes. Now, let me ask you one more quick question. Do you think if Barack Obama just came out with just maybe some tweets, a little short, something, either speaking on some of these issues or putting a word in for Kamala or Corey or Mr. Nessum from out of Florida, do you think that would help with the young vote? Or has Obama just burnt all his bridges?
It's a good question. That's a real good question. I don't think it would make a lot of difference because I think that some of these young people that have that attitude about Biden, they got the same attitude about Obama. They look at Obama and be like, he ain't do a damn thing. You know, that's just how they look at it. Okay. And they're, in a lot of ways, it's hard to argue against them because I saw a meme, right? And I think this explains it. I saw a meme. It was like 3 panels, right? All vertical. I'm sorry, there were horizontal panels, okay? So the top panel was a picture of some urban setting, right? And it said It said the hood in under Bush. And then it was the same
Right.
exact picture
Yeah.
underneath that. And it said the hood under the next president. And then the last one was the
Right.
same picture and said the hood under Obama. And that's how people look
Yep.
at it. They
Right.
don't see no changes. And they don't want to hear
Ex-
about the Lilly Ledbetter law or some other law or something like that. What they're looking at is something tangible in their community and what they actually see. And
Right.
there's a lot of people that look at it that way. Yeah.
And Mr. Ivy, when people like Glenn from Mason, when he's defending Barack Obama and his 8 years, and someone asks him, what did Barack Obama do for black people? The first thing him and other black Democrats will say is Obamacare. Am I correct?
That will come up. Yep. And then the next
Okay,
thing
now
will be, it helped a lot of black people. People will say, well, that wasn't
but
specifically
no,
for black people. And then the people that bring it up will say, well, it helped mostly black people. I've heard that
but
argument
no,
over and
but
over
see,
again.
yeah, right, exactly, because the way Obamacare was structured, either you had a federal mandate where you had to buy it or you would be fined, or you got subsidies from the federal government and your health care was free. So that's what they always do, Nate. They point out that part of a program and say, see, that's for black people. And it's just like they do with the criminal justice system. It's like black people are like, wait a minute, I'm not a criminal. Why are you always bringing up criminal justice in relation to black people? Why are you always bringing up poverty in relation to black people? And so that's what I'm saying, Nate. These young people, and it's because of the medium that you dominate, Mr. Ivy, social media. And before I go,
I don't dominate
I
social
just
media.
want to put, yeah, you do, sir. You're on your way. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
You're right
Now,
about that.
Mr. Ivy, one little tidbit that I'm pretty sure everyone's going to trust but verify. The presidential candidates, for the first time, are spending more money on social media than they are on television ads. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. They're coming for your cell phones. They're coming for your
Right.
tablets. And this time they can't put it on the Russian. Okay, so
Well, the Russians,
it's
I think,
gonna
will be
be
back in play. We don't know what the impact is going to be, but we haven't really put any
yeah, but
safeguards in place to make sure they don't meddle. At least I haven't heard about it.
yeah, but I understand, Mr. Ivy, and I'm pretty sure you're going to trust or verify this also. The majority of the Russian ads that were placed on Facebook and other social media accounts was after the election, Nate.
Not
It was
true.
after the election.
Not true.
Okay,
Not true. I don't know that to be true.
Nate.
I can't say it's not true, but I don't know
Okay,
that to be true. I mean, from what I read and remember, the social media game started,
yeah,
way before, in the
after.
months before the election.
No, it was in the Mueller report. I'm saying the people that were convicted by Robert Mueller, okay, this Russian troll farms and bots, it showed that the majority of their money that they spent was after the election, Nate. I'm telling you. Okay, but anyway, that's off the subject.
Yeah, but
And
have you ever
all
heard
I
of
want to
you
say,
ever heard of Cambridge Analytica? Because that was
yes,
okay. So that was in play in the run up to the election. It was before the
but
election, right?
Obama used them in 2012 and 2013. You remember Obama's deal with Google and Facebook? He was already using social media
Yeah, but that's not the
with
same as
all the
Cambridge Analytica, though. I mean, they all do. Cambridge Analytica is something different. You know what I'm saying? I don't
yeah,
remember
but
Obama
Obama
using.
used a similar company. He used a similar company, and I could get the names mixed up, but he used a similar company because everyone saw what Obama did, how he got all these young people to turn out for 2 cycles. Yes, he lost the working class white vote. He lost that vote, but he was getting that young millennial vote, which normally just don't vote. But Obama got them for 2 cycles, and it was because of his data collection through social media. Okay, so
And his ground
again,
game, and his ground game, and the fact that he was a man
no
of
doubt,
color, and the fact he was a man of color, and a lot of black people
that's
thought
true.
that was going to be something different. They thought it was going to be some real change.
Hmm.
But
Right,
Trump
98,
deserves props.
98%.
Tell me if I'm wrong about this and what you've read. From what I've read, Trump deserves props because he ran a very sophisticated, or his team ran a very
Mm-hmm.
sophisticated social media strategy that included
Mm-hmm.
Cambridge Analytica. And they
Uh-huh.
targeted like 80 million, 90 million Facebook profiles and did a whole bunch of different things that ended up helping him
Right.
win. So
Yes.
you're right.
And,
After
and but
seeing that, they're
yes.
coming for social media. You're right about that.
Right. Now, let me add one thing before I go, Mr. Ivy. You have to remember that in 2016, nobody, including Trump, thought he was going to win. He had a ragtag group of people helping him through the whole process of getting electoral votes and all that shit. Because even going into the convention, it wasn't clear that he was going to get the nomination. That's why he hired the crook, the criminal Paul Manafort. But all I'm saying, Nate, in 2016, it was ragtag. I think Trump spent 60 million. In 2020, Nate, this man has already started. This is the first time an incumbent president has already started his campaign this early. He is putting tons of money into social media. And I'm telling you, Nate, this time, for real, oh, Trump is going to be somebody to be dealt with. And it ain't going to have no quote unquote Russian cloud over it. Because in 2016, he didn't think he was going to win. Nobody thought he was going to win. Everybody in America thought Hillary was going to be our 45th president. But anyway, on that note, I hope that I spoke long enough and loud enough that Mr. Glenn from Mason, a.k.a. Mr. Mahler, a.k.a. the Overseer, a.k.a. I Dance, Steven, I is free. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Appreciate the call. Rack 'em. Um, Very interesting. Speaking of the election, couple things. I'm going to host a watch party for the presidential elections. And it looks like for the first one, we found a spot. But let me confirm once I get off the air. I'm going to end the air at 10 a.m. this morning. And then I'll put everything up on social media, Facebook, wherever, wherever, our listeners are. The Friends page, NathanIvey.com, the Nathan Ivey Show page as well. So people who want to be involved can. Now, if you can't be there, I'm planning on streaming it live. So you can be there without being there. But I just want to get together with some folks who might have a different opinion. I know that AvTab is doing something. Brian Gary sent me something. I know they're doing something. That's great. But I want to get with you. I want to get with some black folks. I want to get your thoughts about and process it together. It's open to everybody. But this is a Nathan Ivey Show. Friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show kind of event. So I'd love for you to be a part of it. And I will let you know. As soon as I confirm everything, I'll put up an event page, and you can do your due diligence after that. So Senator Bernie Sanders will be in Cincinnati at a Black Press Convention, and I'm going to be about and around these events to try to get a sense of what's going on this week. Who else is here? Ben Chavis is in town. He's the association's leader. I believe he was on. I think he was on with Dwight Tillery yesterday. I think it was, and we will see. We'll see what Bernie has to say. We'll see what Bernie has to say. Somebody's got to get the Democrat nomination. That's for sure. I'm not against Bernie. People ask me. Last night I was talking with a 59-year-old black man born in the city of Cincinnati. We're talking about politics, and he asked me, "So who are you leaning toward?" And I said, "You know what? The field is wide open. I need to watch the debates. I know what I'm looking for from a candidate. Okay, I can tell you what I'm looking for from the next president. Some of the major issues that I want them to support, and I think that's the way we should look at it, right? Rather than who impresses us on the stage. It should be who checks the boxes, you know, the predetermined boxes, right? While they're on the stage. So we shall see. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. And again, is the strategy anybody but Trump, or is it get the best candidate, even if that candidate can't beat Trump? We'll have to make that. We'll find out together. We will find out. Dan Hills is doing damage control. Let me see. Pamela writes, I think I just lost that. Why is the alt middle so intimidated by the Mason Mauler? It's hilarious. I don't know why. I don't get it because he makes sense. Tracy writes, I left my job 3/18/19. They haven't heard a word from me. um, Drop, actually, Hillary was the most qualified, better than that clown in the White House. Now, way better. In terms of checking off the boxes that everybody said, you're right. Like, she was the first lady, and I think that's a job in of itself. She was a senator. She was a cabinet member under Obama. I get it. But she also had hella baggage. She also said we have to bring them to heel. She also went on the Breakfast Club talking about how she got hot sauce. Why do I care if you got hot sauce in your purse? That don't mean a damn thing to me. Then you won't even add the Benghazi stuff, the so-called emails. I mean, she just... Bunky writes, Egan is an ops. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of that. Broadway Flo writes, Glenn is in hiding after that dumb ish he said yesterday. Stay on that ass, Drop, overseeing the overseer. What did Glenn say yesterday? I think he said that his front runner right now was... I think he said that the front runner right now for him was Biden. And he also said, with a caveat, that some people will have a problem with it. It is what it is. Bunky writes, Trump is going to eat Biden alive. Could be. Angela writes, it's greater forces at work in choosing our presidents than simply voters. Really? We've talked about that before. Who do you think these forces are? Who are they? I'd love to know. Let's point them out. Let's put them on Front Street. Oh, yeah, okay. Absolutely, I want to get it popping. If you're listening, for sure. Absolutely. Bushy-tailed Drop, awfully moist this morning. Angela writes, Skull and Bones? Secret societies, huh? I wouldn't doubt it. There was a time when I was really into all of that, man. There was a guy named Jordan something. I can't remember his name, but everybody told me at the time that he was like the premier, go-to expert on Skull and Bones. So we had a series of conversation. Jordan something, I can't remember his name, but he's big on the internet. I'm not even sure if he's still alive. We're going back a while ago now, and I spent a lot of time investigating Skull and Bones and trying to figure out whether these secret societies, what the influence was. And there's definitely something there. I'll say that. I'm not going to profess to say I got it all figured out, because I don't. But I agree. There's a lot more going on than people let on. That's for damn sure. It's the only way this ish can persist. It's the only way these things could persist. There's got to be a lot of forces working against us and working for the betterment of other people other than us. That's why I say black folks should posse up. Posse up. Simple as that. Tracy writes, stop talking about Obama. Okay, he loves to talk about Obama, right? It's his favorite thing to do. All right, let me take a quick break. We'll come right back and take more of your phone calls, talking about the great issues of the day. My number's pretty simple, 513-873-7134. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. You can also look inside of, this is where I broadcast from when I'm at home. And you can check out the live stream up on YouTube right now. Nathan Ivey Shows, where you can find us. We'll be right back.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/bloodpressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14.
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street. Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds. I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try. He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, good morning, everybody. Live, local, and vocal. Welcome back. Nate Ivey in the air chair. All right, we've only got about 15 minutes left in the program this morning. So if you want to chime in, I'll give you the number 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. And let's pick back up where we were. We're talking local issues, getting ready for the upcoming election, taking phone calls, taking your thoughts about it. I mean, what matters to you most in a presidential candidate, a Democrat presidential candidate? How many people are open to go third party? How many people are open to go third party in 2020? If a third party candidate caught your attention, would you go third party? I'd like to know. 513-873-7134. Kush writes reparations now. I say represent now. We need representation now. Right now. TNT writes, no, it will set the narrative. If Democrats don't want to see a mass exodus from the party, they better be willing to fight for reparations. If a third-party candidate adopted reparations and adopted a third-party candidate adopted reparations as an issue, adopted issues, what other issues would it take to get you to vote for a third-party candidate? Even if you knew or you really felt like intellectually like a third-party candidate might have no shot. Like, I've had these debates over the years where people are like, oh, you shouldn't vote Green Party. You shouldn't go third party. It's only going to come down to the Democrats and Republicans. And we get it. And that's the sad state of affairs. That's what's up. We need a third and fourth and fifth party that can rise to the level to challenge the two lazy parties that we got right now. That's what we need. But to do it, it takes many, many years, because what happens is if you can't get on television during the presidential debates because you're a third party candidate and maybe you got a great platform, but people just, they don't see you during the debates, then it's going to be very hard to win. It's going to be very hard to win. Kush writes, I'm not asking. I know that's right. Drop writes, Angela writes, I think she says she would vote for a third party. People have to realize that Hillary's downfall was that she was the establishment candidate, and Biden is considered establishment. It is candidates that are not your typical career politician that has a better chance of becoming president. Warren, Harris, Buttigieg. Watch them, okay? Parent Education Town Hall at Corinthian Baptist tonight. Yes, I am aware. I may get a chance to go check it out. Pam writes, Nate, I saw some of the people on Dan Hill's post asking who you were. Drop is right. You were definitely gaining traction. That's great. It really wasn't about that. It really wasn't about that. It really was about, as I said, and I went over to that thing and I heard him say some crazy ish, and I wanted to let him know that there's a different viewpoint about that. There's a different viewpoint about these things. And, one of my questions that I definitely want to ask him is, what is his role in provide? Are you a unifier or are you a divider? I say, like Bush, are you a uniter or a divider? Because that matters. That matters. And I could see that Dan took my approach a certain way, and it is what it is. But we shall see. I think the relationship is still there and the door is still open. So he can post whatever he wants to post. It makes no difference, because if we're not moving the community forward in a way that really matters, the conversation don't matter. It was entertaining. It was informative. We got a sense of who he is, and therefore, if he represents the rank and file, what they're getting, which was not happy. I wasn't happy to hear that. But at the end of the day, we all got to do this together. We all got to do this together. So I did see some of that, and it is what it is. Can't change somebody's opinion. You talking black to me now, Nate. F red and black, red and blue, bet on black. Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Just look at the system. I mean, this ain't nothing new, Mike. If you look at the state of our neighborhoods, the easiest thing in the world to do is you want to blame the evil Republicans, but we got two major parties in Cincinnati. It's completely fair to ask, what have they both done? That is completely fair and legitimate. Now, I know my opinion. I know what I see. But I think that the rest, it's like Obama said, be the change you want to see. That it's going to come back to us. It's going to come back to us at the end of the day. Mike is 100% on that. You're right about that. Absolutely. I agree. What's that, Ray? See. Jimmy is Drop's father. What? What? Broadway Flow writes, it was hypocrisy at its finest at Angela. Nate could not even vouch for that nonsense. Not sure what you're talking about. Taylor writes, this Spectrum Wi-Fi is cutting out every 4 or 5 minutes for the past 30 minutes. Never did this before. Uh-oh. Must be the man. Carolina writes, the Affordable Care Act was not for black people. More poor Caucasians are on Medicaid than us. Check the stats. Broadway Flow writes, you obviously did not hear that BS Mason spit yesterday, or you groupie mode. I'm going to guess the latter. No, I heard everything he said yesterday. Yeah, I heard everything. And he put it out there. He said it with a caveat. He said, listen, people going to come for me for this, but he put it out there. Bunky writes, Nate, what did Obama do specifically for black Americans? Well, it depends on what level. I mean, other than the fact that he was a great example of a legislator in terms of like not getting into, any major scandals, portraying a great public image as the first family, beautiful first black family. If you want to talk about things legislatively, that's going to be a little more difficult. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to come up with. And when we talk about Obama's, history, a lot of it is, okay, he did things for everybody, but we also got some as well. People, listen, if you really want me to get into that, then I don't want to do it half-cocked. I'd have to really sit down and give that question the respect it is due and do my research and then come back to you. So that can happen. No problem with that. And we can put it out there and decide whether it was good enough. Because we might not feel like it was good enough, and that's fair. That's completely fair. Let me see here. Obama was a half-breed African with a Jewish grandma who gave him $500,000 when he turned 21. And Barack is not his first name. He changed it. Well, I mean, I get it. My thing about Barack Obama at this point is that it don't really matter because he ain't in office no more. You know, I think the conversation is fair to have when you analyze it, right? It's fair to analyze what Obama did or didn't do. I mean, that's completely fair. But at the end of the day, it don't really matter because he ain't in office no more. What really matters is what we gonna do moving forward, you know, in 2020 and beyond. That's what really matters. You know, I think what we learned from Obama is a couple things. And one is that it's up to us. Kamir writes, some of the reason why Obama wanted to put in place the Affordable Care Act so people couldn't use their medical expenses as an IRS write-off. Drop, he is campaigning because he doesn't know how to do anything else. It's easier to go spit BS than it is to run the country. Clue Magic writes, what you mean, Drip? Trump hasn't stopped campaigning since he won. Drip. Angela writes, people better prepare themselves. For what? The older blacks are being shunned, and the younger blacks are not vibing with the Democrats' BS. Tangibles 2020. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Will this reparation movement draw more votes to Trump? So is it kind of like white people or people that don't want to see black people get reparations will use this as energy to get out and vote to stop it from happening? It could. I've even heard somebody, and I'm not sure who it was, but it was inside the Chop Shop, right? It was inside the Nathan Ivey show this one morning we were talking. Somebody said that they felt like the reparations conversations was really a Republican plot, right? To do just that. They were like, oh, the Republicans are behind this because it's gonna energize the Republican base for 2020. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know. The biggest myth Joe Biden has uncovered was the myth of the Dixiecrats. The Dixiecrats never left the party and gave birth to a new generation. No party for black folks. Clue Magic writes, yes, Nate, Dan Hills was talking about you and went to his base to lick his wounds and get his ego stroked. They were asking who you were, like you were inferior to Dan. We all know it wasn't a gotcha interview. He misled his followers with his post about you. He should have told them, I have a hard time answering questions from black men. My superiors are otherwise. Yes. I'm not sure who it was, but somebody, Clue, it might have been you. Somebody posted it. So I got a chance to see it. I took a snapshot of it. It is what it is. I mean, you know, like you said, somebody put it best. He was doing damage control. Like, oh, you're going to put out some clips and you get a chance to see. I keep telling nobody gives a damn about that. Ain't nobody like, oh, he talked to Dan Hills. No, that was a personal thing. Like I told you, I went down there. I saw from my own eyes and ears. Aside from, and again, I got to give props. There was a white male from the Cincinnati Enquirer that was asking some very real questions. He was holding Dan Hills accountable. It was quite interesting. Other than that, everybody was just, yeah, yeah, whatever you say, Dan. Little bobblehead media. Yep, whatever you say. I'm like, wait a minute. But I had to go pick up Junior, so I couldn't stick around and get it Dan right then. Or I would have, right then and there. It don't have to be nasty. Because I don't think yesterday was nasty. We're just two guys talking. It's two men talking. It don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be, you don't have to go that way. But I just didn't have the time to do it then, so I wanted to circle back around as I told you I would and talk with him later, and we did just that. So we'll see where it goes. King Koblai writes, damn, I look good. You conceited bastard, you. So damn, conceited. TNT, you cannot discount the fact that Trump has done things to make some black Democrats take a real look at the GOP. Criminal justice reform, Second Chance Act. I'm just saying. I don't. For me personally, I never thought about the one thing about Trump is who he is. He just is who he is. Period. Take it or leave it. And for some people, that can be very, that can be very attractive, right? For most people, very attractive. Like if you're the kind of person to say different things when you go to different places, people don't like that because it's like, who are you really? And say what you want about Trump, he is who he is. Take it or leave it. And so there's an attractiveness in that. I understand that. But I don't think that black people are really turning away. I think there's some younger blacks who are caught up with the whole Blexit thing. And to me, I would look at the Democrats and say, well, that's on you. What are you doing and not doing so that you're losing traction with younger black Americans? And what it comes down to is, producing something tangible that they can look at and say, hey, boom. That's what the Democrat Party is doing for me. Boom. Straight up. All your favorite white Democrats, like the Clintons, came from Dixiecrat roots. Really? Cool Magic writes, Biden and Trump are the same old, out-of-touch white dude. Well, see, that's the fear of getting Biden, is that people will perceive him that way. And you know what? You ain't wrong about that. You are not wrong at all, Clue Magic. You right. It's time for something new and fresh with the Democrat Party. We'll see. They've got candidates. We shall see. We shall see. A lot of people are saying Kamala Harris. But then what happens is back when she was the prosecutor for California, people are talking about the fact that she didn't do enough for criminal justice reform and that she was locking up brown people, right? That's what people are bringing out. So you got a record. People are going to use it against you. It is what it is. Have a great day, Ray. Have a great day. Appreciate you for being here. Susan V writes, greetings, great people. Been listening. Interesting comments on reparations. And Cobra just held the annual conference in Detroit last weekend. More info coming soon on local reparations actions, but we can't allow trolls to mislead us on reparations and weaponize the issue. RBG for life. RBG for life, he says. TNT writes, if Republicans begin to discuss reparations and become the champions of it, the Democrat Party would officially be dead. We have to be one-issue voters on this one, like the gun toters, or at least leverage our demand on reparations to get our interests met. One-issue voter, okay? So for folks who may not know, and I think everybody does know, but I'll just underline it just because I've gone down this pathway so far, but that just means like there's one issue that really means a lot to you. And if a candidate doesn't ride with this, then no bueno. It ain't no good. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at it at all. For me personally, I could never vote for a presidential candidate. I don't give a damn who they are if they're not saying the right things about reparations, because it says something about your mentality. Reparations is an issue for me that is it ain't even no conversation about it. I will not vote for a candidate that doesn't speak the way that I'm looking for to hear it, doesn't have the ideas that I'm looking for when it comes to reparations. And there's same thing with the internet. I feel the same way about net neutrality. And I feel that way because I understand the impact that the internet has had primarily on new black media, on people's ability to use the internet to connect with other individuals. I think it's sacred and should be shared, especially with black folks, because black folks have been locked out of ownership of terrestrial media. So they go to the internet. They go on Facebook. Shout out to Lawrence and the work that he's doing. Okay? So that's the reason why I talk about net neutrality, because I understand. I'm in that lane. I understand, what that means for us. Okay, so those are a couple issues for me that's non-negotiable. Now there's others. I'm not saying that you're going to get necessarily. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to get. Carl, I'll get to you in 1 second. My apologies. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to get everything you want, but I'm with you on that one. It's 2019. How are we going to get a Democrat candidate for president and they're against reparations for ADOS? It don't even make any sense. It don't make no sense whatsoever to me. So I think that's very important. Not just because, like, oh, we're going to get a reparations within the next 4 years, because it's the mentality. It sets the tone. If you're against reparations for ADOS, some tells me if you become president, we're probably going to be at odds on a lot of issues. That's what something tells me. I could be wrong about that, but that's just my take on it. How many people agree with TNT that if the Republicans begin to discuss reparations and became the champions of it, the Democrat Party would officially be dead? Now, I'll be honest with you, TNT. I have talked with Republican leadership in this city. I said this directly, face-to-face with Alex Triantafilo. Because as I've told you before, Black Democrat or Republican, I think that Black people should have their own agenda, and then the parties, they get with our agenda, okay? And I mean that. So much so that when I had an opportunity to speak with Alex T, this is just last year behind closed doors, we were doing a podcast for the Hot Mic podcast, which will be coming back soon. We're on hiatus. My co-host on that one just had a child. So, and I said to him, I said, listen, what is the Republican Party doing to interact with Black people? Because whether you want to believe it or not, there are Black people that would roll with the Republican Party. If the Republican Party showed any kind of give a damn or really put forward a policy effort in particular to that experience, but they don't. And Alex T, he looked around and he said, Jeff Pastor. That's what he said to me. We supported Jeff Pastor, and again, I support Jeff Pastor. I'll say it again. We need more Black Republicans that's got some damn sense, that can work inside the party from within inside and try to have a positive impact. I'm cool with that, but that's all you're doing is you supported a guy who decided to run, right? So it's very, 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 very big questions coming up. So watch your social media feed, because I'll be reaching out to let you know and confirm about our meet and greet watch party. We're going to do it at a Black-owned establishment. That'll be tomorrow. I believe the debate starts at 9 p.m., then, of course, on Thursday as well. And so if you're interested, please stop by. You don't have to stay the whole time. Say what's up. I'll put a live stream up, and we'll chop it up and talk about these issues a little bit, or perhaps quite a bit. So drop rights, TNT, bad cops will get theirs one way or another. I have never supported bad cops. Trust but verify. Someone writes, how much longer are we supposed to wait? It is the 400-year anniversary of the first slave ship coming to America. My blog, Reparations Now or Never. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Everybody check that out. That's great. I love what I'm seeing, man. People are very energized, and they understand this is a critical time, locally, regionally, and nationally. Very, very critical time. Very critical time. And, you know, either we're going to see the same old stuff or we're going to do something different. You know, I say try something different. That's what I say. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I know I was on for like 5 hours yesterday, man. I couldn't even believe I was on for so long, but I got to make a move. I will not be on that long today. In fact, we're going to end the stream here within the next couple of minutes. But I want to say thank you again for being here. I really appreciate you. We just hit the 3-hour mark. I really appreciate you. Keep your eyes on my social media, because I'll be posting up an event page for the watch party if you want to be a part of that. If you want to stop by, hang out, that's great. I love it. And, you know, we'll be chopping up tomorrow morning, bright and early, as well. It's a lot of things going on this week. And I appreciate you spending some time with me here this morning. So have an excellent day, choppers. Have an excellent day. And we'll talk real soon. All right? Remember this. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning. And and we'll talk real soon. I'm out.